The clinking of coffee cups and murmurs of conversation filled the warm air inside the Copper Leaf Cafe. It was mid-morning, the soft light filtering through the windows giving everything a golden glow. Behind the counter, Emily Carter, a shy 25-year-old waitress, wiped down tables and smiled politely at customers. She wasn't the kind to draw attention. Quiet voice, gentle presence, always a little too careful, as though afraid to take up space. But if you watched her long enough, you'd notice something rare, the way she listened. Really listened. She knew everyone's order by heart. The tired nurse who needed extra espresso. The lonely old man who always asked for someone to talk to. She treated every stranger as if they mattered, because to her, they did. Emily had grown up with little, her father gone, her mother working 2 jobs, but she had something precious, a little brother, Liam, who was born deaf. Teaching herself sign language to talk to him had changed her life. It had taught her that silence could be louder than words, and kindness didn't need to be spoken to be understood. The unexpected guests. That Tuesday started like any other, until a sleek black car pulled up outside the cafe. The door opened, and a man stepped out who made everyone pause. Alexander King, billionaire, tech CEO, tabloid headline, known for changing the world with his inventions, and for never smiling. But today, he wasn't alone. Beside him was a graceful older woman with silver hair and a cane, his mother, Eleanor King. The air in the cafe changed. The manager straightened his tie. The barista whispered, "That's him. The Alexander King." Emily just stood by the counter, clutching her notepad, her heart pounding. They took a seat by the window, a strange pairing, the world's most powerful man and a frail woman who barely seemed to hear the bustle around her. When Emily approached, Alexander looked up. "We'll take 2 teas, please," he said curtly. "And a slice of your lemon cake." She nodded, but her gaze drifted to his mother. Eleanor's eyes were kind but distant, unfocused, watching Emily's lips move. Then Emily noticed it, the subtle movements of her hands, the way her gaze lingered. And then it hit her. She's deaf. Emily hesitated, then slowly, tentatively, began to sign. "Welcome to the Copper Leaf. I'm happy you're here." Eleanor froze. Her eyes widened in disbelief, and then she gasped, covering her mouth before bursting into tears. Alexander looked up, confused. "Mother." "What?" Eleanor signed furiously, her hands trembling with emotion. Emily smiled softly, responding with gentle, flowing signs. The entire cafe fell silent. People turned to watch, confused but moved, as the quiet waitress and the billionaire's mother began to speak with their hands. After a few moments, Eleanor reached across the table, took Emily's hand, and squeezed it tightly, tears still in her eyes. Alexander leaned forward, trying to follow. "You know sign language?" Emily nodded shyly. "My brother is deaf. It's how we talk. I just wanted your mother to feel seen." For a long moment, Alexander said nothing. His usual composed expression softened, something unguarded flickering in his eyes. "She hasn't had a conversation like that," he murmured, "in years. A connection beyond words. That first meeting changed everything." A few days later, a formal envelope arrived at the cafe. Inside was a handwritten note. "Greater than, you made my mother smile again. Please allow me to thank you properly. Dinner at our home, tomorrow at 7. Alexander King." Emily almost didn't go. What could she possibly say to a billionaire? But something inside her, maybe curiosity, maybe kindness, said yes. When she arrived at the King estate, she felt like she had stepped into another world. The marble floors gleamed, the chandeliers shimmered, but what struck her most wasn't the wealth, it was the loneliness. Alexander greeted her himself. He wasn't in a suit this time, just a sweater, sleeves rolled up, trying, awkwardly, to smile. "You came," he said softly. "I almost didn't," Emily admitted with a nervous laugh. He smiled, a real one this time. "Then I'm glad you did." Dinner was quiet but warm. Eleanor's face lit up as Emily signed to her, asking about her life, her favorite books, her memories of young Alexander. For the first time in years, the mansion filled with laughter, silent, beautiful laughter. Later, as Eleanor went to rest, Alexander lingered behind. "You know," he said quietly, "my father died when I was 16. After that, Mom withdrew. I tried to talk, but she would just look through me. I never learned her world." Emily looked at him, eyes soft. "It's never too late to learn." He smiled faintly. "Maybe you could teach me." A slow bloom. Weeks turned into months. Every Friday, Emily would visit to help Alexander learn sign language. At first, he was terrible, mixing up signs, forgetting phrases, but he was determined. Sometimes they'd sit in the garden, signing slowly as Eleanor watched from the porch, her eyes full of quiet pride. One day, Alexander signed, haltingly, imperfectly, "You look happy today." Emily blushed. "I am. You're improving." He grinned. "Good teacher." Eleanor chuckled silently from behind them, signing to Emily, "He's flirting, dear." Emily's face turned red, but she couldn't help but laugh. For the first time, the great Alexander King, who could buy anything, looked like an ordinary man, vulnerable and sincere. The breaking point. But not everyone was kind. When a photo of Emily leaving the King mansion appeared in a gossip magazine, rumors spread like wildfire: "Billionaire falls for waitress." The comments were cruel. At the cafe, coworkers teased. Customers whispered. One day, a woman sneered, "Trying to marry rich, huh?" Emily bit her lip, holding back tears. She stopped visiting for a while. Eleanor noticed immediately. She grew quiet again. Alexander called. Once, twice, 10 times, but Emily didn't answer. Until one rainy evening, a knock came at her apartment door. She opened it to find him standing there, soaked to the bone. "I don't care what anyone says," he said, voice shaking. "You changed my life. You brought my mother back to me. You made me see the world differently. Please, don't disappear." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to. I just didn't want to ruin your reputation." He took a step closer. "You could never ruin anything." And then, in perfect sign language, he signed, "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me." The moment that changed everything. That Christmas, Alexander threw a charity gala, his company's biggest event of the year. Cameras flashed, the rich and powerful filled the hall, but when he took the stage, there was something new in his eyes: warmth. He gave his speech, but this time, halfway through, he paused, and began to sign. As his words appeared on the screen behind him, he said aloud, "Tonight, I dedicate this event to someone who reminded me that communication isn't about hearing or speaking, it's about understanding." The crowd watched, stunned, as Eleanor stood in the audience, tears streaming down her face, understanding every word her son said, for the first time in decades. And when he finished, he looked straight at Emily, sitting near the back, and signed, "Thank you for giving me back my voice." She broke down crying. Everyone did. A year later, the Copper Leaf Cafe hadn't changed much, except for one detail. Every Sunday morning, a familiar black car would pull up, and a woman with soft brown hair would step out, wearing a diamond ring that caught the sunlight. Emily King, no longer just the shy waitress, but still the same gentle soul, now ran a foundation with Eleanor, helping deaf children learn to communicate freely. Sometimes, when she helped a child say, "I love you," to their parents for the first time, she'd remember how it all began: one small act of kindness, one quiet moment of understanding, in a noisy cafe.